Hello and welcome to NABJ TV. I'm Kimra Leppinger.
And I'm Farron Salee. Thank you for joining us. Good news for hundreds of NABJ members headed to the career fair. A new report shows the unemployment rate just dipped to its lowest level since 2008. As convention attendees hunt for jobs, this could mean a better shot at landing that new gig. Like many of you, I visited the career fair, and this year you'll see more than 50 recruiters from all media, many of them ready to hire. A packed room filled with people waiting in line, all sharing one desire.
And hungry for that job, willing to work hard. I honestly just want to get a good critique of where I'm at so far.
Montez Allen is a graduate student, making connections here for future opportunities. But some experienced journalists take a different approach.
I'm not really in the job market right now, but if I see something that really piques my interest, then I might go ahead and pick up the information.
And one thing you can do to really make sure that you stand out among the crowd is to always have a resume and a business card ready to go.
I have over 250 business cards. I have over 50 resumes. I have like 30 demo reels. Everything is new from our wardrobe, everything.
That's what recruiters want to hear. This reporter remembers her time waiting on the other side of the table.
Energy and drive, that's really important, and eye contact. It sounds simple, but you would be surprised how many people don't look into my eyes.
Scouting talent for her company gives her a new perspective and hope to job seekers like Alan.
I don't want to stress over something that I can't control. So if I keep working my tail off, then I feel like I will be okay.
And they might connect at the career fair, which takes place from Friday 9 to 5 through Saturday 9 until noon. It's right next door to convention registration downstairs in Exhibit Hall A. The national unemployment rate is at 7.6%. But keep in mind, the unemployment rate for African Americans is always higher. The most recent government data shows the rate is 13.7%. Now, recruiters big and small are at the career fair. A complete list is available at nabj.org.
The controversial Trayvon Martin trial is over, but to many the issue is still not resolved.
NABJ TV's Madison Sanders brings us a piece that hits close to home.
That's right. Now, we're still hearing emotional reactions to George Zimmerman's not guilty verdict, including calls by some in the black community to boycott the state of Florida. Now, some wonder, why didn't NABJ stay away? The NABJ convention has always been a place for members to talk, laugh, and be together again.
Getting catch up with some old folks that we know and just having a great time.
So like I say, meet new people, develop professional connections, and hopefully land a new job.
Everyone is aware of the Trayvon Martin killing, a short drive from here in Sanford, Florida. I'm standing right in front of the Seminole County Criminal Justice Center, where George Zimmerman was acquitted just weeks ago. That decision sparked a range of powerful emotions across the country, and those emotions led some to boycott the state of Florida, particularly for its Stand Your Ground law. Abraham Pizam, Dean of the Rosen College of Hospitality Management at the University of Central Florida, says a boycott is not the best way to change the law, especially with many African Americans employed by Florida's tourism industry.
So you have a boycott, who's the first to suffer? Those people. They will be laid off.
He hasn't seen a noticeable drop in Florida's tourism numbers since the verdict. And
journalists cover boycotts. We don't participate.
Other NABJ members say they cannot support a boycott of Florida.
If we stay away, more things like that will occur and we won't have a voice.
I just wanted to be a part of it, so nothing was going to stop me from coming if I could help it.
And Zimmerman is in headlines again after being stopped on Sunday in Texas for speeding. Officers say he had a gun in his glove compartment. He was let go with a warning.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson joined students from the Dream Defenders on Tuesday at the state capitol in Tallahassee.
He spoke with reporters and spent a night on the floor in the Capitol. Our Shaquille Brewster is here with more on the story.
We're talking about a group that organized a sit-in outside of Governor Rick Scott's office. They want him to call a special session on the Stand Your Ground law. I spoke with the legal expert about the push to repeal the law and its implications right here in Florida. Stand Your Ground law is being questioned, from students at the Florida State Capitol to the journalists at the NABJ convention.
The law is a license to kill if it's really misused, and I think that's what's really happening here in Florida. That
I'm not very familiar with the Stand Your Ground law.
Governor Jeb Bush signed the law with much fanfare in 2005. Stand Your Ground clarifies the state's definition of self-defense.
And when you're in certain locations where you're entitled to be and someone attacks you, that you're not required to retreat anymore.
The law was brought into national spotlight after George Zimmerman fatally shot unarmed teenager Trayvon Martin in February 2012. He initially was not arrested after saying he shot in self-defense.
It has its pros and it definitely has its cons. Cons definitely being highlighted in the most recent case with Trayvon Martin.
And while Wagner notes the law wasn't directly used by Zimmerman as a defense, he says the law can be ambiguous and emotional.
You're going to run into close cases once in a while, and you're going to have one side or the other is going to be upset. You're going to have a 17-year-old kid killed in one case. In another case, you're going to have a guy who just returned from Afghanistan.
Wagner does not support any repeal or changes to the law. He says Stand Your Ground is a relatively new law and should be refined as judges and lawyers argue new cases.
Thanks, Shaquille. Now, George Zimmerman's not guilty verdict upset many Americans and left them saying, now what? U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder is investigating the case to see if Zimmerman can be tried in federal court for violating Trayvon Martin's civil rights. One Orlando lawyer says if the trial were to take place, evidence will make the difference.
It does not appear that there was any evidence in the criminal trial that George Zimmerman was acting with an intent to take action against Trayvon Martin simply because he was black. I didn't see any evidence that actually came out in the criminal trial, and I would have expected it would have.
A guilty verdict would require federal prosecutors to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that Zimmerman was prejudiced in his actions. According to the expert, that would be difficult.
A town anchored in segregation with the future laced in hope. Nabj TV reporter Alicia Mitchell shares the story of the Goldsboro community.
Frances Oliver is the curator of Goldsboro Westside Historical Museum, a community of 2,500 with history dating back to 1891. Located just west of Sanford, Goldsboro was once the center of black life. But now, the community struggles putting to rest the pain of the Trayvon Martin case in a past rooted in segregation.
The healing has not taken place yet. We're at the point now where we're trying to face the problem. You can't change a problem till number one, you face the problem and know what the problem is.
Town records, pictures, and furniture fill the museum, open in 2011, with hopes of instilling pride in the Goldsboro community.
And it was really interesting to see how the young people are dealing with this. This is sort of perhaps some level of civil rights relationship that they have.
Families like the Henderson travel to Orlando for the tourist attractions. But since the Trayvon Martin case, this historic city has become a destination.
Alicia Mitchell, Nabj TV.
Goldsboro was the second all-black town incorporated in Florida.
The Visual Task Force has captured a piece of history and brought it to the convention. Nabj TV's Adriana Bush gives us a little tour of the past.
There's history within the walls of this convention. To find it, head to the hallways outside the Gaylord Palms Osceola Ballroom. This week, the walls are a temporary home to photographs of some of the most influential African Americans of the Civil Rights era. Members of the Visual Task Force have set up a civil rights exhibit to honor the anniversary of the 1963 March on Washington. For convention attendees like Cheryl Salmon, these pictures resonate with deep meaning.
I was born in that post-civil rights era, and so for me, it's personal just seeing the moments in time that led to the kind of life that we have now.
The pictures were donated by photographers, media companies, and Nabj. The Visual Task Force is auctioning all of the civil rights photos that are on display. The auction chairperson says it is for a good cause.
I just really want people to know that it's important to understand the value of photography and the value of having a beautiful print on your wall.
I'm Adriana Bush for NABJ TV.
The auction will take place Saturday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the Tampa Ballroom. All donations are tax deductible.
Proof it pays to be active in your local NABJ organization. Just ask Kim Hudson, a member of the St. Louis chapter. She won an all-expense-paid trip to attend this year's convention. This all coming from a raffle at our local chapter meeting.
I stood up, I screamed, I almost cried. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been praying to get here. The bottom line is everybody knows, most journalists don't make a ton of money. And, my career path already has not been very linear. But I knew I really needed to be here this year. There are a lot of classes, things I really need in order to help, boost my performance in the newsroom. So.
She believes holding the vice president's newborn at the meeting was her good luck charm. She is a multimedia journalist at Fox 2 in St. Louis, and she's hoping to learn more about social media and boost her skills in the newsroom at the convention.
And when people think of things to do in Orlando, places like Disney World, Universal Studios come to mind. But coming up, we'll tell you what other adventures you can explore.
Plus, how kids in high school are getting an early start in the journalism field.
And next, an inside look at the media mogul and trailblazer who's raised the bar for not just females, but all journalists of color.
Central Florida. Some of us are from here.
Many of us moved here.
And just like you, this is our home in Cocoa Beach,
Orlando,
Lake Mary.
No matter where you live, West 2 News tells your story in your neighborhood.
Local stories.
Late-breaking stories, whenever they happen. Live as they unfold.
So whether you're in Pine Hills,
Echoey, Winter Garden,
or anywhere in Central Florida, we are the station in your community.
We are West 2 News.
Local, live, late-breaking.
Before I got here, I didn't come with any type of expectation. Whatever I saw, I was going to see how I could make a difference. But being here, I realized that the difference is much bigger than I am. So what I try to do is I'm trying to make a small impact within a short amount of time. And I feel like we've been able to do that.
As Sarah Glover and Bob Butler battle it out to become NABJ president, current leader Gregory Lee Jr. is nearing the end of his term.
NABJ TV reporter Nikel Smith sat down with Lee as he reflected on his time as the organization's leader.
As president and leader of NABJ's board, Gregory Lee Jr. had high hopes for his tenure, but wishes he had more time to reach them.
I think any NABJ president who has set of goals that go into their 2-year term and think you're going to accomplish them, it's not realistic.
One goal he's most proud of is last year's NABJ convention in New Orleans.
One of the main things I accomplished was just getting our organization through the New Orleans convention with the Leaving Unity, and planning a convention in 10 months, which is really abnormal for us. It was probably a very big challenge, and we accomplished that. We had a great convention.
Lee says these accomplishments didn't come without some hurdles to work through, particularly with NABJ's board of directors.
Who's the president, who the executive director actually reports to? Is it the president? Is it the executive board? I've had a lot of struggles on my board, but those are eye-opening experiences, and did it hurt my term? Yes. But at the same time, I look at it as an opportunity for our organization to grow.
Lee adds that the organization still has even more growing to do when the next president steps into his shoes.
The national office needs to be cleaned up a lot. We've had too much turnover in there, a lot of inexperienced people in there. And also, board members need to grow up as well in terms of their experience level and understanding it's not about them, it's about the organization.
But what about life after his time in office? Lee says he plans on staying involved with NABJ, but his mom also has some ideas on how he can spend his time.
As my mom says, now that I'm doing NABJ, she's looking for some more grandbabies.
Nikel Smith, NABJ TV.
In addition to serving 2 years as president, Gregory Lee Jr. was also NABJ treasurer for 4 years.
Paula Madison is a pioneering journalist and entrepreneur. After years in the news business advocating for diversity, she's now a principal owner of a professional sports team. The busy executive paused briefly for a chat with me about her life and career. CEO of the WNBA Los Angeles Sparks, Paula Madison is an icon. A journalist and former head of KNBC, Madison prides herself on making a difference in the lives of others, especially women.
I've just been inspired by her life and her activism at the NABJ. So I always see her at the meetings, at the business meetings. She's always involved with NABJ affairs. She's always asking, what can I do to help? How can I support NABJ?
What's really important to me is that journalists understand that we actually are advocates. Some of us are of the opinion that we're not.
Madison, an NABJ pioneer, stresses the importance of reporting with accuracy, completeness, and fairness.
It's taken some years to understand that I get objectivity as a goal, but the fact is that, as I said, if we don't understand that we're advocates, then we're in the wrong profession. Advocating for truth and justice.
That understanding that has made her want to continue her support for NABJ forever.
You know, my intention is to come to NABJ until I can't walk anymore.
Madison has just completed a documentary about her family that pays tribute to her mother and her Chinese ancestry.
NABJ is preparing to celebrate 4 decades of accomplishment. The organization is approaching its 40th anniversary in 2015, and members want to make sure it's a celebration to remember. Ideas on how to celebrate the anniversary are going to be discussed at NABJ board meeting on Friday. Members are interested or beginning their honorary activities in October.
When you're not standing in line at the career fair or soaking up industry tips at workshops, be sure to venture beyond the walls of the Gaylord Palms and take in all that Orlando has to offer.
NABJ TV's Alicia Mitchell has how you can make the city your playground.
Class is not in session, but both kids and adults are getting schooled in Florida history at the Osceola County Pioneer Village and Museum.
Osceola County's hidden gem takes you back to a time when life was slow and people lived simply off the land.
Not your typical classroom. The Pioneer Village has great educators like Executive Director Danita Dampier, who makes learning a fun attraction.
And then I think for the kids and the younger generations, it's great for them to see how life has progressed and how much we've changed. And it's really neat. They see all kinds of artifacts that they don't know what they are and what was this for. And we get to answer all of those questions for them.
If the simple life of museums doesn't amuse you, speed into action at the local family-friendly attractions like Fun Spot. Fun Spot offers huge fun for the whole family with the best variety of roller coasters, go-kart racing, arcade games, and thrill rides. An added bonus is free admission, parking, and Wi-Fi. Other great options to consider while in Central Florida include Orlando Premium Outlet, the area's only upscale shopping center, Old Town, where over 75 specialty stores, dining, entertainment, and activities for young and older children, City Walk at Universal Orlando, you can enjoy live music, dance clubs, sports bars, movie theaters, and more across a 30-acre entertainment complex. In downtown Disney, a lively promenade featuring distinctive dining, unique shopping, and exciting nighttime entertainment. Alicia Mitchell reporting for NABJ TV.
And speaking of exciting and entertainment, you know, Farron, this weather has not been fun.
It hasn't with all the rain. It's kind of hard to still want to go out. Let's see if we're going to get a break from that and head over to Simone Davis with the weather.
Well, Kimrell and Farron, let me tell you, we were in the clear for the first couple of days, but the rain came last night and it doesn't look like it's letting up anytime soon. Let's take a closer look at that. Now, if we see over in Reddick and in Williston, the rain cleared up, but it was a little heavy earlier. And if we look closer to where we are, Orlando, SeaWorld by Kissimmee, we are in the clear, but if you go a little further down I-4 in Polk City, there's still some rain in that area. Now, if we look, you don't need the rubber boots for today. The rain, 1 inch in Disney World. If you go 1.7 in Altamont Springs, and in Orlando, 1.8. As I said, not that heavy. You just need a light jacket and maybe an umbrella. So if we look closer, we still see some rain in this area. As I said, further down in Polk City, along I-4, there's still some heavy rain. So if you go out, still remember, bring that umbrella and that light jacket with you. Now, what are the heavy hitters for today in rain? Wasn't as heavy as yesterday. It was 2.8, but today in Silver Springs, 1.5, and in Bay Lake, only 1.1. So not as heavy. No need to worry about the floods going on. So let's take a look at the temperatures. Now tonight, it's cooling down. We have 72 in Ocala, we have 75 in Winter Haven, and where we are in Kissimmee, 75. As I said, it still may rain, so bring that light jacket and raincoat, put it together. Now, after that, we have rain tomorrow, thunderstorms. It's moving down. There's still remnants of Tropical Storm Dorian. Now tomorrow the weather's still gonna be hot though. So you got the rain, you got the heat, it's gonna bring humidity. Ladies, you may wanna pack that hairspray with you. I know I need it all the time when the weather gets like this. Now for the next couple of days when you guys are leaving the NABJ conference, it's still gonna be rain, rain, and more rain with thunderstorms. So be careful when you're leaving around I-4. If you go to I-75, there's still gonna be some rain around there. It's gonna be 92, 93, 94, mid-90s, and in the mid-90s for the low. So be careful, be safe, and stay dry. That's all for weather. See you guys.
Thanks, Simone.
Thanks, Simone. Now, NABJ strives to help journalists jumpstart their careers through programs like NABJ Student Projects and internship programs. But there's also a program to get aspiring journalists started before they even get their high school diploma. And Simone Davis has that report.
Tony Thomas is an entertainment blogger and first-time attendee of the NABJ convention. She's looking to brush up on her journalism skills. There's another thing about Tony. She's a high school student, one of 12, participating in this year's NABJ High School J-Shop program. Students ages 14 to 18 from around the country. Here at NABJ Student Projects, we have our stories lined up and ready to go. You see the rundown here. We have the crew working hard, getting their stories out, trying to make deadline. And just on the other side of these curtains, there are high school students who are just as busy.
I want to get a quick hands-on look at journalism and find out what it's about.
These students also have closed sessions with professional journalists and open discussions about major issues affecting the country.
One of the people today said that Trayvon Martin will be a benchmark in history. What do you think about that? Will that
For the past 4 days, these students have been learning the tips and tricks of the trade. And for some, the new skills they've acquired will help them go far.
It's so inspiring just to know that all of these people around me, they were once in my position. You know, a young black journalist, and at one point they felt like I felt, you know. So they know what I'm going through, and just looking at them, I see where I can go.
Simone Davis, NABJ TV.
NABJ has been hosting this program for the past 4 years and plans on keeping it around for years to come.
Elevated expectations for the UCF football team and its quarterback this year.
Up next, our Adriana Bush tells us, well, we really saw one player come into his own last season, and the coach expects a big thing coming from this certain player again next season. The learning process is still far from over, and the coach is going to tell us why when we come back.
Central Florida. Some of us are from here.
Many of us moved here.
And just like you, this is our home in Cocoa Beach,
Orlando,
Lake Mary.
No matter where you live, West 2 News tells your story in your neighborhood.
Local stories.
Late-breaking stories, whenever they happen. Live, as they unfold.
So, whether you're in Pine Hills,
Echoing, Winter Garden,
or anywhere in Central Florida, we are the station in your community.
We are West 2 News.
Local, live, late breaking.
Before I got here, I didn't come with any type of expectation. Whatever I saw, I was going to see how I could make a difference. But being here, I realized that the difference is much bigger than I am. So what I try to do is I'm trying to make a small impact within a short amount of time. Well, I feel like we've been able to do that.
A new season and a new conference bring with them new goals for George O'Leary and his UCF Knights, who begin play in the revamped Big East, now known as the American Athletic Conference. And it stands to reason that Blake Bortles will figure prominently into any success or failure the Knights know this fall. UCF Media Day at Bright House Stadium this afternoon. The UCF quarterback among those on a veteran offense expected to cause some damage this season. The junior from Oviedo played well in UCF's Beef O'Brady Bowl win last December. O'Leary expecting him to take another big step or two this season.
You know, he has a bright future. He continues to grow and get better in a lot of the areas, field awareness as far as, you know, just going to that second or third receiver, I think is the next notch he has to grow to. And he started doing a lot of that last year. I think it's only going to continue to grow from this year.
The Florida Gators are ranked 10th in the preseason ESPN USA Today coaches poll. Alabama is a solid number 1. You could see the top 5. FSU is ranked 12th in the preseason poll. Already having given women's professional golf a big shot in the arm, NB Park could make history this weekend. And what better place to do it than in St. Andrews? At the Women's British Open, Park, who lived for a while here in Central Florida, shot a 3 under 69 in round 1. A win would give her an unprecedented calendar grand slam never before done. Right now, 3 shots behind the leaders. And more gold for the Ryan Locke Trophy case, the 11-time Olympic medalist winning gold in the 200 IM at the World Championships in Barcelona today. Had to come from behind to win in time of 1:54.98, which happens to be the fastest time in the world this year. And back to you at the news desk.
Up next, one of our own is recognized for her hard work.
We take a look at a special award for one of our NABJ Student Project members.
Central Florida. Some of us are from here.
Many of us moved here.
And just like you, this is our home.
In Cocoa Beach,
Orlando,
Lake Mary.
No matter where you live, West 2 News tells your story in your neighborhood.
Local stories.
Late-breaking stories, whenever they happen. Live, as they unfold.
So whether you're in Pine Hills,
Echoing, Winter Garden,
or anywhere in Central Florida, we are the station in your community.
we are West 2 News.
Local, live, late breaking.
Before I got here, I didn't come with any type of expectation. Whatever I saw, I was going to see how I could make a difference. But being here, I realized that the difference is much bigger than I am. So what I try to do is I'm trying to make a small impact within a short amount of time. Well, I feel like we've been able to do that.
A special tribute for one of our own happened at the annual Sports Task Breakfast.
Our own Adriana Bush, an upcoming senior at San Diego State University, received the Sports Task Force Scholarship. And Bush says the $2,500 award will help her graduate debt-free. Bush is a journalism and history major and is pursuing a career in sports journalism.
It's early mornings and late nights for some NABJ students.
Dozens are gathering across all platforms to cover both local news and the convention.
We explore just what the program Student Projects is all about.
The Student Project is where we bring college students from all over the country to our convention, and we teach them all things journalism to try to expose them to what journalism is like in the real world.
You come and you get to meet all of these people and network, and it's just like a great time with journalists. And I just thought how great, for me to be part of a profession that has this organization that really caters to its students.
We have several different tracks for which students can apply for. There's the television team, there's the online team, there's the photo team, there's the copy desk, there's online, there's print, and there is design.
Oh, I absolutely love my team. There's 5 of us, and it's really interesting to see how they come from all over the country, and yet they have so many different skill sets, and it seems like we could do a little bit of everything.
Kind of consulting with topography or something like that.
I've been working with great mentors. They're very easy to speak to, how willing they are to help you, and, they want to know as much about you as you want to know about them.
They will leave this experience, this 1 week at our convention, feeling more comfortable about their skills and feeling more comfortable about deciding if they really want to make journalism a career choice.
It's certainly been a fun week. And again, congratulations, Adriana. That's an amazing achievement.
Thank you so much, Farron, and thank you again to the NABJ Sports Task Force.
And Simone, I'll be definitely sure to pack my umbrella and raincoat for that rain.
Yeah, no rubber boots. You'll be fine.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's all for NABJ TV.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, you can follow our Twitter feed, and that's hashtag NABJSP13, or check out our Facebook group, NABJ TV 2013.
We'd like to thank all of the mentors and volunteers who helped us with these newscasts.
Thanks for watching.